Welcome to DC.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Dagger! It's 1974. The Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
Don't like that. I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Despite all this, despite the churn, my approval ratings keep going up.
We are ready to give our 500% support back to this franchise, back to this city, back to this team after Snyder leaves. And then this is the poo-poo you put on the field.
For the very first time, the Washington Mystics are WNBA champions.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to support fake teams that can't ruin my life.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Well, boys, good evening. This is DTC. My name is Joe. FP is in the house tonight. Andy is in the house tonight. This is episode number 324. And that is a crazy big number for our show. It's a crazy big number basically for any show. I mean, it is crazy to think we've been doing this for 300 something episodes at this point. It's awesome. I'm very grateful that we've been able to put this many out there. It's like a real show, FP. I don't know what else to say. It's like a real show, 324 times of doing anything, and hopefully you get a little bit better at it as you continue to roll through. We're 6 days from the Super Bowl. I've never felt more disconnected, apathetic, whatever, to a game. I don't care one bit. We got the NBA trying to make waves over the weekend in a dead news cycle, trading superstar for superstar. We've got the red hot Capitals that are streaking and just literally on fire. I'm glad Andy's in here to talk. I can already see I can see the love in his eyes to talk Caps.
I'm glad Andy's here.
I know. Yeah, I'm glad for you because I can only do so much, with my limited hockey knowledge. We've got. I mean, there are still sports happening, but you can't help but feel just a little dejected that season's almost over. Like, we've been doing this for almost 20 weeks now, 21 weeks, whatever it is. The Pro Bowl is terrible. The skills thing is terrible. All that stuff is terrible.
Wait, the Pro Bowl was this past weekend?
Did anybody actually watch the Pro Bowl?
Wasn't it like the skills thing, right? Like punt the ball into the thing.
There wasn't like a game.
It was flag football. My kids watched it for like 2 minutes. I couldn't do it. So this was like a good test run for the season that we're about to enter into. We got Matt and Stevie blowing up the chat, talking about pitchers and catchers. Like, everybody's all over the place. It's one of the fun things about having a cast of 15 on a show that rotate in and out.
That's not a cast of 15.
Well,
it's a group chat of guest speakers and you and me and Andy.
I'm not going to challenge you on that, but we're I don't even know where you guys want to start. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl, but I think that's the logical place to start. There's just zero hype around this game, and maybe it's because we don't care, but I just don't feel it. It's not something that, like, if I lost power on Sunday and missed the game, I don't know if I would seek it out to watch it. I would want to know the result, but I don't know if I'd care to watch it.
Complete curveball. I think I actually want to talk NBA over football right now.
Who is this?
It's coming from FP of all people. I mean, the Super Bowl is so inconsequential. Nobody cares about it. The two franchises, nobody cares. Articles come out that the refs fined A.J. Brown, but not Marshawn Lattimore on the thing that Marshawn Lattimore got flagged for. I don't care anything about football right now.
There's one name I can't hear today.
Yeah.
It's Marshawn Lattimore.
Well, it should also be A.J. Brown and Sean Hockley, but whatever.
Still pissed from 2 weeks ago with Marshawn.
But I actually I kind of want to go NBA first. This is like upper echelon of head scratching trades. This is like Babe Ruth for money type trades in baseball. Shout out to Maddie. Look, I made a baseball reference, but that's an insane
crazy trade. I mean, you've seen it's very, very rare that you see an actual all-star traded, much less for another actual all-star in season or preseason or whatever. Like, it just doesn't happen. This trade, let's jump right into it then. The Lakers, I think if you're the Lakers and you're looking at this, you have to find a way forward post LeBron and the circus that is LeBron and his kid And
Absolutely.
I think Redick is actually a pretty good coach from an X's and O's perspective. I don't know how he's going to be judged long term because of this rando cast that he's been asked to coach.
He has the potential to become like the next Pat Riley.
He can. I mean, or Spoelstra, right? Like
in the X and O's. Yeah.
Yes, he can do it, right? I think there was a lot of heat thrown at him for being a podcast guy and a guy who talks about basketball, but he clearly does know what he's doing. Yes. And he's squeezing quite a bit of juice out of that current roster. They had to find a way to go from an average age of 40 on their, basically because LeBron is so old. And I'm not a LeBron guy. I'm actually wearing my Kobe shirt just by chance today, but this allows them to go from this is their contingency plan.
100%. More so than AD ever was
25 or 26 years old. I mean,
yeah.
In my mind, he seems much older, but he's not that old. And and let's just talk about it from the Lakers side. This is a no-brainer from them. You're trading a piece that you're either going to lose to free agency, he was going to go be a mercenary somewhere else, or if LeBron leaves, you're not going to build a team around Anthony Davis. So like this move makes 200% sense.
What I'm hearing is you guys are saying this is a future play because I don't see LeBron and Luka playing together, having that chemistry
past this season, or just
just like I'm sorry, I don't see them playing well together, not having that chemistry. Gelling. I can't see them. Yeah, I can't see them gelling. I can't see them playing well together.
I don't know. Old head LeBron might be able to embrace Luka.
I'm with Andy on this one. I don't think that happens, but the Lakers as a franchise have never been obsessed with like keeping the team together. LeBron is really like the minor exception to this rule. Peak Kobe and Shaq, they were ready to deal Shaq. You go back before that. They were like they have never been gun shy about trying to acquire good talent or trading away talent that they felt they had to. And in AD, I mean, he's caught a lot of heat over his career for missing a ton of games, for street clothes, I think was the nickname given to him by Screaming A. Smith at some point, right? So, like, if you're the Lakers, this is a no-brainer. You have to motivate Luka to get into shape, and ironically, that was probably the primary driver for Dallas trading him away.
Yeah, but what motivates an NBA player more than being on the Lakers or Boston, right? Like the two.
Yeah, I mean Dallas
mountains.
Sure,
like,
for as good as the Mavericks are, they're not. It's not LA. Like
right,
the money that will be thrown at Luka now from ads and revenue, all the other stuff that comes with it.
He'll make up the money that
I know what Andy's going to say.
He's the Supermax, yeah.
And Andy, you're 100%. Like it's such a dirty move from the Mavs because they didn't want to Supermax him, and now they don't have to. And I have a question I want to come back to on this, but let's talk about like what this does for the Mavericks right now. This chart starts a chain reaction of, I mean, Kyrie raised his hand and said, I want out too. And personally, I said the Wiz should be all over him. I know everybody's upset with me for saying it because they want to tank and get Cooper and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. But Dallas basically will be in a position now to reset their team very quickly if they so choose, or they can just bank a bunch of money and rebuild it the classic, the more traditional way as well. I don't understand this move from Dallas's perspective. The only way it makes sense is we have to offload Luka before we have to pay him huge money, and he refuses to get into shape. Like he showed up at training camp at 260 plus, and they said he ballooned.
Is that real? Is that true?
It was confirmed that he at one point, around like Christmas time, he was flirting with 270.
That's a little. That's like FP playing NBA. It doesn't fly.
That's a big number. And he's not overly athletic. And I give him, I mean, he's fun to watch, but I mean, Charles Barkley was never that big. Right. Zion got that big, and you could see the wear and tear on him really quick. So it's an inch. I mean, this stuff doesn't happen. And honestly, and I feel like this is the craziest part of this to me is that LeBron wasn't aware. Kyrie wasn't aware. AD wasn't aware. Luka wasn't aware. The league wasn't aware, right? How many reaction videos of people?
There's no way LeBron wasn't aware. There's no way.
I think there's a possibility. I think the Lakers are pissed at him for making them draft his kid and pay his kid a guaranteed contract.
I was thinking this narrative. I think LeBron was done with AD and had a backroom chat.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
But also, this wasn't This wasn't anything that the Lakers pursued. This was Dallas, from everything I'm hearing. This was Dallas being like, hey, LA, you want Luka? And who says no?
I mean, you can't. If you're the Lakers,
Nobody says no. So it's not like the Lakers were like, how do we get rid of AD? How do we plan for the future? It just was gifted to them. It was the best gift ever.
And if they play this right, they've got their superstar now for the next
10+ years.
10 years, right?
Yeah.
If they can do this right. And I think
everything that Dallas should have been doing.
Sure. And that's fair. And it's just so uncommon to see a trade of this magnitude take place quietly on a random Saturday in any league, but in the NBA in particular, where all the players, I forgot that Luka couldn't control, like all the players seemingly have, or all the studs have no trade clauses.
Yeah.
Right. Like Jimmy Butler is still picking fights with the Miami Heat and wants to be traded, but then everywhere they try to deal him, he says no. Right. Luka and AD somehow both didn't have no trade clauses. Like, what a crazy!
You never see it.
Yeah, I mean, but fine. Like, I'm here for it. Like, the NBA had to do something. And here's the larger thing. Maybe if you guys can chime in on this. Does this reset some fan interest in the NBA that the league is bigger than the players? Because I think that's part of the reason why people generally have tuned out on the NBA. It's too much of one guy. It's not about the team. It's not about the league. It's not about the game even. It's about the characters that are, these superstars or former superstars. Like, everyone's obsessed with LeBron. No one cares about the Lakers. Everyone's obsessed with, Durant. No one cares about whatever team he's on. Like, this is a way to
I do think it's going to pique some more interest short term, right? Everybody's going to want to see how Luka plays, how he's going to mesh with LeBron. If he's going to, play second fiddle, or if he's going to, step into a leadership role. I think there's going to be some interest to see how the Lakers play with him on the team, but I definitely think it's going to fizzle out. It's going to fizzle out. I give him 7 games. 7 games, and people will be interested, and then it's going to start going downhill. And then nobody's going to be interested in Dallas at all.
They lost by 45 to Cleveland the second Luka left.
Yeah.
Dallas is Dallas's market just plummeted.
He's been injured, and magically AD can suddenly play. Luka still, I think he's going to sit a couple games, but they got to get him into shape. Like that's the bottom line here. Like he is flirting with the end of his career if he can't buckle down and get his diet into shape. I mean, you're talking about a guy who could be the best or in GOAT conversations, but you can't do it when you're 300 pounds. Like it's not.
I mean, statistically, just playoffs alone, he's already like
he's in the
average point percentage. Like he's up there. Like
there was this also. I did see this thing where he was 300 points away from passing Michael Finley. I forget what the stat was. I think 300 points. It couldn't have been lifetime points. I think Dirk owns that, but it was really close to passing him on something. And obviously Michael Finley is front office for the Mavs, so maybe he just get this guy out of here. Michael Finley also famously is the one who took the beer from him after the finals or during the finals in the postgame. So like there's always been a little bit of whatever that is. And Cuban loved him. Cuban's a minority owner. Cuban has no stake or no real pull anymore, no juice, so to speak, in the front office anymore.
I mean, it just Dallas bungled this because the return, like, yeah, sure, AD, but like if they called 5 different teams, they would have gotten so much more in return, be it future picks or other people where they can immediately.
But if they call 5 other teams, does it leak? Does it get out? And then does it get ugly?
Yeah, probably. But if you're Dallas, what do you care? You want everyone bidding for your golden goose.
Sure, possibly. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I wonder what we see now. Like, do we see more? Like, do we see Butler actually get moved? Right, Butler, he could. I mean, I'd love to see Jimmy in a Wizards uniform. I'd love to see anybody in a Wizards uniform. Like,
over the current team, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
they also have 48 different Wizards uniforms. I don't understand why, but
I mean, the Caps have a billion of them.
I was pulling Luka's stats real quick while you guys were chatting. The man was still averaging close to 30 points a game.
Yeah,
almost 10 rebounds. Like he's still performing 8 assists a game. 46%.
And that's while being fat and lazy. Like it's insane.
Exactly.
I think he's worth every penny, fat or not. Like,
the Lakers won this deal. They fleeced.
Was there anything
They
else
didn't even
involved?
fleece. They were just they said
Draft
yes.
picks, anything?
There's a future 2029 first round pick, which who cares? And then there was also a they got one of the Morris twins. I don't remember which one, and they traded. They traded like I don't want to say scrub, but like they traded some role players back and forth.
I'm surprised those Morris brothers are still playing.
Yeah, I mean, they like the Al Horford. I think is still in the league, right? He's 50. I mean, Giannis Haslam played until he was.
That just goes to show you how much I don't care about the NBA. I had no idea Horford was still playing.
But it wasn't that long ago that all of us were obsessed with the NBA.
It was playoffs because you had young guns and different teams rising and actual defense being played. The problem is nobody cares about regular season NBA, and the same goes for baseball. Nobody cares about regular season baseball. You only wait for the show, right?
I mean, Matt's getting pissed at you.
Yeah, Matt cares about pitchers camp. Like he's in a rare breed.
He is, yes.
But the rest of the world, nobody's watching baseball regularly until middle of September when it comes down to a little bit more seating, right?
Yeah, when it's a little cooler outside and you want to be indoors with the fireplace lit and you get towards the beginning of the football season. I mean, just to bring back.
Hockey, unless you're a diehard hockey fan, nobody cares about regular season hockey. You wait for playoffs.
I mean, you two bozos are blowing up the chat constantly about hockey.
Hey, Ovi, man, 18 away. 18 away.
He's going to get it. He's going to do it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest headline in the NHL. Honestly, I don't care what anybody says.
He has his own banner and ticker on NHL.com.
It's a big NHL headline.
The Caps are currently on 75 points. I think they're second overall, trailing the Jets at 77. I looked at it earlier today.
They were both tied for points when they matched up. Jets got the win. We got the overtime point.
Jets also played one extra game. They're one game ahead.
Yeah. But I mean, we're top dogs in the East. Like that was a Stanley Cup.
FP wouldn't stop chatting this game up. It's a finals preview, and you've got to watch it. And this
100% was when you see your football team get one game away from the championship.
Yes.
And you're completely heartbroken. How nice is it that you can turn to another DC team that's at the top of the league?
Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand, but it was a 10:30 at night. Like, who's staying up late to watch games at this point? FP.
I love West Coast games. Go down to the basement, make a hookah, cancel the 9:30 meeting, sleep in a little bit. I don't have kids. It's fantastic.
But this isn't just about the. I mean, I'm happy for you, right? But I tried. I'm trying to like get my brain to switch out of football mode. It's very tough, honestly. It's just tough. Like when you do something with
what you need to do to appreciate the game a little bit more. It's very. We discussed this. Outside of the 5 feet that you have to walk from the Metro stop to Capital One's front doors, the 5 feet of reggae and weed. That sucks. But then once you get in, very family friendly, great atmosphere, great for kids. And when the team is playing hot like they are, Capital One's insane.
But can they reduce the games? Can they reduce the schedule to like 2 games a week, 1 game a week, maybe?
Like more options for you to make it fit your schedule.
That's the thing, right? Like Sundays, it's very easy for me to plan around Sunday from 1 to 4. Very easy. Very difficult for me to plan Tuesday at 10:30 and then Thursday at 7 and then Saturday at 6 and then Sunday at 2. Like it's all over the place. And I feel like an old head saying this, right? But this is part of the reason why I can't watch NBA. Like I can't. I physically cannot keep up with the schedule.
It's actually the reverse problem of the NBA is that all of the watching happens West Coast, so all the better matchups are late games. NHL, all the better matchups are East Coast, so you get all the 7:00 games. It's even better.
All right, I'll try. I'll keep trying. I mean,
we should go.
I don't mind going. I mean,
This is the season where you need to start watching, get familiarized a little bit more, so that when we start having playoff pods, you know what the hell me and Andy are talking about. Start doing your research.
I'll go to third mic. I think at that point, I'll just slink into the background. I'll be the third mic. I'll just fire up. I'll get things going and then just be quiet and let you guys go.
Did you already forget the excitement that we had around that 2018 Stanley Cup run.
Yes, everything
I
is
was in
eroded.
DC for that.
I mean, we got 3,000 of our Twitter followers from like one tweet that we posted out of like sidewalk art. Like, it's crazy.
It's
Speaking of players moving, I'm gonna pivot for you.
Okay.
I want Myles Garrett.
Yeah, who's gonna say no to that?
I want to overpay for Myles Garrett.
I am happy to give up 2 first-rounders or whatever the asking price is for him.
Yes.
I've come full
Is that
circle.
in Adam Peters' DNA? Would he do that?
If you suddenly have a 29th overall pick instead of a 4 or 5 that you were anticipating, I would give that up for Myles Garrett.
I don't know what you would draft in the first or second round that would net more impact to your team than Myles.
At a very big need.
And that's my very simplistic way of looking at it, right? I put this in the chat. There's some combination of Garrett, Payne, Allen, and Newton. Those big fatties up on that line would be amazing to see all play together. Put anyone you want behind them. Like those 4 somehow.
It's everything we were promised with Chase Young, but Myles Garrett is proven.
Yeah. I mean, listen, last week I was clamoring to trade Marshawn back for Chase, and now a week later, like Garrett is legitimately an option. And I mean, he's an instant. It's not even an upgrade. It's a completely different. It's a completely different scheme you can run at that point when you have somebody like that. And I'm big on Johnny Newton. I think there's potential there.
He's good.
I think you give him another season. He's going to be okay. I think we have seen, I don't know if you boys agree, I think we've seen the best of Duran and Allen at the pro level. I don't know if there's another gear.
I think
past this one for them, but it's still very good, and they're under contract, and you don't have to do it. Like the Skins are in a very fortunate position where they don't have to do anything.
Yes.
Roster-wise.
There's no benefit of getting rid of Allen and Payne.
Yes. So
I think you actually could see better production from them. They're underproducing 100%, right? But especially when you see like a Jalen Carter come into the league and completely disrupt every offense in front of him. They're underproducing by every metric. But if you give Peters another year to shore up that defense a little bit more with a Myles Garrett, with a more stout secondary, I think you could see a little bit more productivity out of Allen and Payne. I don't think they're going to be game disruptors. They're not an Aaron Donald or Jalen Carter or any of those big boys that just take over games. But they can hold their own if everything around them is at an elevated level.
I don't know if this team if the Commanders need that though, right? I mean,
but you need the edge.
We were 2 quarters away from the Super Bowl. And had we gotten past the Eagles, I think we could have competed against the Chiefs. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore, and it's all just theoretical talk at this point. But you weren't that far off, and your offense is that good. I think one of the interesting things with this is you can afford to spend this type of draft capital for a Myles Garrett because offensively, most of your holes can be plugged beyond the first and second round. Like you can still get offensive linemen late. You can trade or acquire help at the running back position the way they did with Eckler last offseason. Like you can shore up some of this stuff.
The draft is heavy in running back. You can get somebody very good. If you want to use an early round pick, you can get a really good running back with your second if you give up your first. Like it's deep with running backs. It's also deep with edge players, but are they going to be a Myles Garrett? No.
No, I mean, there is only one Myles Garrett.
You know what the worst case scenario would be? Worst case scenario would be would be if he just joins another powerhouse. If he went and joined Philly or joined Kansas City.
I had the same
another powerhouse.
Or like Buffalo.
Just the thought in my head. It's like super teams. It's kind of morphing into like NBA-ish type mentality. But like I would hate to see
we now have a guy that at least puts us into the conversation. And you could take that guy as Adam Peters or Jaden Daniels. You have people now in the building where if you're a Myles Garrett and you're like, I want to compete for a Super Bowl, that's why I want to leave. You can now look at Washington and be like, well, damn.
I think that's why you don't. I actually think that's exactly why you don't go to a Buffalo. because you're still going to have to deal with the Ravens and the Chiefs
Right.
and whatever. Like, as loaded as the NFC is, and we literally have been talking about the
QB
NFC
play is so bad.
We've been talking about how loaded the NFC is for 20 weeks. And the top 2 or 3 teams, whether it was the Lions or the Vikings or the Eagles, like we said, these were the better teams. But in the end, our team was able to kill many of those teams and continue to move forward. So you're really not that far away. And frankly, Washington has the deepest pockets.
Yeah.
So I respect that he may just want the bag. Come to DC. I understand what Andy's saying.
But you get everything else with it.
Like, he could end up in a Bengals uniform, and like, are you going to fault him? Like, he's moving from, it's an interstate situation, right? He's had his whole life to do that.
When you look at the QB play at a whole, if you're an edge player, do you want to go against Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Knicks?
No, of course not. I want to go against Jalen, Goff.
Yeah, you want to go against the statues.
The statues of the NFC, of course.
And be on the team with the one actual threat.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I feel like Myles Garrett has kind of shown his cards a little bit, in the sense that I'm not saying he's not a competitor anymore, but he's willing. He's already flat out said it. I just want to go to a Super Bowl contender, right? Like, I want to compete for a Super Bowl.
Andy, that's us now.
Technically, the Commanders are.
I'm saying I know it's us, but I'm saying I feel like the lazy route for him, which is a possibility. I'm not ruling it out, and I said it's the worst case scenario before I started my spiel here, was for him to take the lazy route and just join a Philadelphia, join a Kansas City. You know what I mean?
Philly has the position filled, and I don't think they have the money.
They're also really gung-ho about having drafted all those pieces. Sometimes it's just like, it's part of their shtick. Like these are our guys. Yeah, like, we drafted, like, Philly doesn't. I mean, Saquon and AJ are the exceptions in Philly. They usually let people walk. They don't go acquire big name talent. Think about they let McNabb walk. They let Deshaun walk. They let Shady McCoy walk. Like, they let everybody leave. Very Patriots-esque in that regard. They very rarely go and get a player, right? I mean, they draft. They're just. I mean, you got to give. I'm blanking on what the GM's name is, but Howie something, right? I'm blanking on it, but
Roseman.
Thank you. So I don't see them being, front runners here. Barkley was an exception. AJ Brown. I mean, they got AJ Brown for a bag of peanuts, right? So they're going to be opportunistic in that regard. Are they going to give up first round draft picks? I don't think so, because they have a history of being able to turn those 1s and 2s into, like, legit players. I think Peters has the ability to do that because he's acquired so many draft picks that he's not really giving up that much, right? I mean, it is what it is, but I think the Commanders can make a compelling argument, and he would be joining a group where he would be the unquestioned number 1 super alpha.
Yes,
on the defense. There's nobody.
Yes,
challenges
and
him.
Allen and Payne aren't going to challenge him. Wagner's the old head.
I think those boys would be excited. I think it would be amazing for Newton to have somebody like him, playing.
But just imagine like one side of that defense is Myles Garrett, Luvu, Sandristil, he who shall not be named in Joe's world.
Yes,
I mean, that's just compared to where this defense was 2 seasons ago. You have to do it. Spend all the money, do the picks. LP said, like, the last time we spent big money on a free agent, it was Albert Hainsworth, but this isn't remotely the same type of trade.
It's kind of the same. Like, it was, I mean.
Like, Albert, we got Albert, what, 2008, 2009? 2009 season. His 2008 season was really good. He was all pro. He was dominant, but, like,
he also
he's an interior lineman.
Yes, he required the Redskins at the time to switch into a 3-4
right.
to utilize him as a nose.
We drafted somebody that didn't fit our team, and they
had to change the scheme.
He huffed and puffed and didn't do anything. Yeah.
Yes. Now, I would say Myles fits perfectly because he's the one piece that you do not have, and it doesn't really disrupt your rotation on the line that much. So, like, I'm with you. If you can go get him. Go get him. Like, this is
how much say does he have in where he wants to go?
I don't know if he has a no trade or not, but I mean, the NFL is different in the sense that when a player typically says I want out, they generally are moved pretty quickly. Yeah, but I don't think he has
factor in like where they would like to go. Like, is that a factor at all?
But the NFL is different because they can just.
I think it comes down to more like if you're Cleveland, absolutely not AFC North, right?
Right.
Like they're going to be like, okay, we'll let you go. Absolutely, don't do AFC North. Or
and,
we'll block
and that's probably why he doesn't end up in
Cincy
Bengals, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they trade him to.
I don't think they want him in AFC.
In the AFC at all.
Yeah,
right? So to Andy's point, it could be the Eagles. The Cowboys don't have any money.
No,
right?
the Saints don't have money
for him. The Saints don't. The Saints can't use him. I mean, the Rams. Could you see the Rams get into the mix? I could. McVay is very savvy, and that team is very.
I could see the New York trying to do it, where they're just like, all right, we bungled the offense. Hopefully, we have a rookie QB, but let's just build. Let's just build a defense that can dethrone the 18-0 Patriots again, right? Like, let's just build something crazy.
For my money, it's either the Commanders or the Rams. I think those are the two. I mean, Arizona.
The Rams don't have picks.
They don't have
the Rams
picks.
have them picks. Then they don't have money, and they have to get rid of Cooper Kupp because they're so strapped for cash.
Well, Cleveland needs a receiver, so like maybe they make something. Maybe they make something
they need
work.
A quarterback before they need a receiver.
Maybe they move Stafford too. Is that out of the question?
No, that's actually a really good hot take.
So it's not a hot take. I mean, it's a very reasonable and measured take. Like it's possible.
That's what normal people's hot takes are, Joe. And then there's whatever bullshit you give us.
Maybe we're in the entertainment space here, okay? Like it's what we do. That's what I do, okay? Stafford and Kupp for Garrett would be just as wild as Luka for AD. Like if the NFL just wants to make waves, fine. Go make waves. Go make waves. But it's. They
have to make waves because their Super Bowl tickets dropped to like $2,500 because they ruined it for everyone.
Nobody cares. Pete
they ruined it for everyone.
Still harassing me with his messages. Exactly. He's like, "Oh, you guys switched to these." He's messaging the show right now. He's like, "You guys aren't even talking about."
Know who Phil from Philly is? Is he the guy who spells
Phil
his
from
name
Philly's
with a
terrible,
Y?
and Pete from Philly. Both of them are terrible. Everybody from Philly's terrible. Also,
is he the one that spells his name with a Y?
Yes. Yes, we're not doxing people here, but yes, that's the one. You know him. Yeah.
Okay. I know.
But listen, Dan from Philly is also terrible. All of the from Phillies are terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah, I mean, nothing good comes out of Philly. Even cheesesteaks suck. I'm sorry.
I mean, we are. No, I'm not with you on that one. But
give me an Italian sub or a chicken parm over a cheesesteak any day.
There's no doubt that you're pulling for the Chiefs here, right?
100%.
This will be our very short Super Bowl preview.
100%.
Yeah.
It's the slightly worse or lesser of evils here is for Tay and Kelsey. Maybe Kelsey retires, and that's the end of this crazy run. Maybe Mahomes retires. Like, what's left to do after?
I would love Andy to retire.
I think the way that I'm thinking about this, because I don't want the Eagles to win, obviously, but I also don't want the Chiefs to win. It's very strange how I'm going to word it, but it makes perfect sense in my head. I want the Chiefs to not lose. Does that make sense? I don't want them to win. I don't want Philly to win.
You want like a gross game where the Chiefs end up getting
I just want the Chiefs not to lose. Yeah.
I
don't know.
I will say there's a part of me, like I do not want Philly, but there's a part of me that can recognize just how hilarious it would be that Saquon Barkley gets let go by the Giants because they chose Daniel Jones and he single-handedly brought a Super Bowl to Philadelphia. Nothing changed but Saquon Barkley, and he single-handedly brings them a Super Bowl. If you're the Giants and that happens, fire everyone in that building. If you're Mara, fire everybody in that building.
I mean, look, Matt the Met is here, and I'm happy he popped in at the perfect moment as a Giants fan. Like, you can't help but smile. I mean, you're smiling ear to ear, right? If anyone is watching, he's smiling ear to ear because FP, you're 100% right. The only thing that changed is they added Saquon Barkley as the Giants were laughing him out of the building, saying nobody's worth that kind of money. And here he is doing backflips over people halfway through the season, rushing for 2,000 yards, being the most selfless guy on the field, dapping up his teammates. Like it's impossible to cheer against Saquon. And I'm saying that as a Commanders fan, I cannot cheer against Saquon. I would imagine, Matt, that Giants fans maybe don't feel the exact same way.
No, it's the opposite. Get rid of I don't want to see the Eagles ever succeed at anything. I never did, and I want them to succeed even less. And yeah, I can't help but feel like the people running the Giants are stupid, and they deserve this, and they've created this for themselves. And if they win the Super Bowl, it'll just be a dagger that it'll go too deep. It'll just be
so much
too deep.
funnier that it was caught on camera for Hard Knocks too.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
so special that the cameras are literally in the room catching them, basically saying, we can't do this. It's too much. He's too old. He's whatever.
Yeah, and make sure he doesn't go to Philly.
Yeah, but how are you going to stop him, right? I mean, how did the Bengals, how do the Browns stop Garrett from going? I don't think he's actually a free agent unless they cut him. But this goes back to Andy's earlier point. Like, once in the NFL, very different than like the NBA, for example, where like Jimmy can just keep saying, trade me, Jimmy Butler, that is. The Miami Heat can try to trade him, but in the end, they're not going to cut him because they have to pay him his full freight. The NFL, there's a dead cap number, you pay it, and you're done. It's actually just a quick pivot here. I'm surprised the Browns haven't cut Deshaun, what's his face? Deshaun Watson yet, right? Like at some point, you just have to say, we got this one wrong. We don't have any money, but we're gonna cut him because he continues to get massages from people and get himself.
Actually, I think him re-aggravating his Achilles injury because he was caught on camera taping, like dancing with his girlfriend or whatever, without a boot on. I think insurance kicks in and actually helps Cleveland there.
That's more of a reason, FP, to cut him now. Like,
yeah.
Why are you still entertaining the idea that this guy can play quarterback for your franchise? Like, he's got to go. He has to go. The Ravens similarly are in their own, situation with Justin
Tucker, yeah.
Right? Like this is and Justin Tucker, I mean, for as long as I can remember, this has been like the stand-up, like the one guy you point to and you're like, we will never have a problem with our kicker. Well, turns out they have a lot of problems with the kicker. A lot of women have a lot of problems with the kicker. Like he's got to go too. But Deshaun in particular playing quarterback, like I'm really, really surprised the Browns haven't just, bullshit.
Does it surprise anyone that all of this stuff came out for Justin Tucker after easily his worst season in his career?
I read that earlier today, and I think you even put it in the chat, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, what is the correlation between him being terrible and these allegations coming at the same time? Is there any correlation?
No way it's a coincidence.
Like, did he get caught and he was distracted the entire season because he knew this was coming? How do you go from being the best statistical kicker in the history of the league to consistently being below average or even average?
Yeah, I mean, it can't be a coincidence.
The drop-off for kickers is, I mean, I've seen it the most this year than I've ever seen it in NFL seasons past. Like, the drop-off for kickers is insane. Yeah, and I don't know what happened. Is something in the air?
Well, I feel like in general there are more missed field goals. It's a good point. Like, generally speaking, field goals used to be gimmies, but they're also kicking regularly now from 50, 55, even 60, attempting like much, much further kicks.
Check the ball.
Like the majority of their misses are from like 40 to 50.
The NFL's behind it.
Yeah. You think the NFL's they're doing it to cause drama?
They want the Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn formula where everyone just goes for it on fourth down.
Who doesn't love the fourth down, going for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 3 all the time? It's great. It's great drama.
Is anyone going to jump on Matt for a crazy hot take, or it's just that treatment's reserved for me?
I just love when Matt can come in and say check the balls. It's just
that's right. That's did you boys hear? Did you hear? What's his face? Harris talking today about the name. Can I play this clip? When we just talk about it for a second.
Is it safe to say the commander's name is around just to stay? Is that safe to say from your standpoint?
Yes. And we're actually, I think it's now being embraced by our team, by our culture, by our coaching staff. And so, we're going with it.
We're going with it. We're going with it. I mean, this is basically the worst news possible if you were a Commanders denier or you had to see it change or, whatever the scenario is. I mean, winning helps for sure. It still doesn't roll off the tongue, but I mean, any initial thoughts on this one, Andy? Are you okay with Commanders being the name moving forward?
I mean, there's a lot of factors that play into it, right? But the name itself, me personally, I'm really not a fan of it. I would have liked to see it changed from a business standpoint. I mean, with as much sales, with Jaden Daniels coming in, like I think they're tied to it now. Like even if they wanted to change the name from a business standpoint, they're tied to it. But the good news is, and I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but I want to talk jerseys too. I want to talk about the color scheme and the rebrand from a jersey standpoint. But
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
name sucks. But
hang on, you can't have a third name change in a matter of 5 years. The problem is it would add on to the bad optics that you've already been trying to undo. Now, obviously, winning helps, and Commanders could be synonymous with winning versus the last 30 years of what you've been doing in the multiple names. I think Josh Harris is a smart business guy. He sees the dollars coming in, right? You've got Jaden Daniels. It's a whole fresh start. Like if the first name you associate with Commanders now is Jaden Daniels, and it's and the playoffs, right? All of a sudden, or whatever, the NFC Championship, like that's something you hang on to. Dollars come in. I almost bought a Commanders sweater, so. I just think you're not going to back off of that success now. If they weren't successful, I think they I think they pivot. I think they do potentially bring back the skins or consider a different name, but money talks, and I don't see them walking away from this brand. It doesn't roll off, but it's synonymous with winning, at least for right now.
I'll bring it into kind of what Andy was saying with the overall rebrand that is still to come, right? So, Andy is wearing a Washington Wizards hoodie right now, which A, I'm shocked that anybody has given money to buy Wizards gear, and B, we're all old enough to remember the switch from Bullets to Wizards. That was not well received either. A lot of people hated it, and I almost remember having like parking lot basketball conversations with you, Joe, when we were talking about what the hell is the Washington Wizards, and at the time, like
the original offline podcast.
Yeah, the original offline pod. And at the time we had the black and the gold and the glitter and the weird stupid wizard logo, and now we use it as like a throwback, but like it was terrible. It was terrible when it first happened coming from the Bullets.
Gilbert Arenas should have been on the Bullets. That just fits too well, to be honest with you. Yeah,
and then you had the whole Jordan thing, and then you fast forward and John Wall comes in, and then winning happens, and then you get the best the Wizards have been in the last 30 years.
We're almost 30 years removed from that name change at this point.
Right.
I don't hate the Wizards.
Yeah, it's just the Wizards now.
It's not the greatest, but I no longer yearn for Bullets or Washington basketball team or whatever. Right. Like it's fine.
Wizards. And what helped the Wizards, and this is to go full circle, is when they embraced the rebrand, right? And you had the red, white, and blue jerseys, the better look, the better everything that came with it. The hand up logo again to kind of throw it back to the Bullets. All of that was a good nod to the past. Yeah, exactly. A good nod to the past, and it's embracing what you've become. And that's exactly what Harris is saying is we're going to do the rebrand, and I want the few things to happen. Like Andy's saying, I want the jerseys. They're saying like the Gibbs 1.0 era, right? Those are beautiful, simple, easy jerseys. Yeah, yellow on the helmet, yellow.
The correct color schematic,
right?
Burgundy and gold.
Yes.
No ketchup and mustard. No trash bag black. No, thank you.
But then you go even further. If they're going to do the full rebrand, like I want small things to be changed, right? When they're going to play our touchdown song, our victory song, don't force feed us the syllables that don't rhyme with the beat of the song. Don't force feed Commanders. Just play the song instrumentally and let the fans do what they want to do.
I love that suggestion. That's the best thing you've ever said. 324 episodes.
Fully embrace the rebrand, and nobody's going to care that the name is Commanders.
Honestly, I don't disagree with anything you just said. I think, if you had another 2-win season, I think this is a viable conversation to be had. You're not selling merch. The name is not synonymous with anything, but you qualified into the championship round. Jaden is the face of your franchise. Nobody likes the name. Is it more tolerable when you win? Of course. The uniform is like low-lying fruit, to Andy's point. Fix the freaking uniforms. No more black. No more red and yellow, right? It's like Jim Zorn when he came in here. He's like the maroon and yellow or whatever the hell he
And
said.
the inside mesh of the white jerseys where it's pink and not even burgundy.
Like these are the things that are important to fans, right?
Yes,
like we
100%.
want the colors. That's all we've wanted.
I think most reasonable people understand that Redskins will never be the name of the team again. I think most reasonable fans would accept football team in the short term, but like anything else, if we were still playing football right now and it was Commanders versus Chiefs, the irony of those two franchises playing each other wouldn't be lost on anyone. And maybe you springboard that into a conversation about bringing back the scripted R or bringing back the arrow or something. It didn't happen, right? We're stuck with the Taco Tray W, and that's what it's going to be. But I think you can still clean up the colors to make it just closer to what we want as fans. Like you can, that is an easy thing to fix. And
I think the W could go too.
The W could go. I mean,
just be better.
Yeah, or find a way to, exactly. I mean, it's the W isn't my I don't really have issues with the W. I have very serious issues with the black uniforms. I don't know where they came from. I don't know why people are so excited about it. I don't like the alternate fight song, left hand up. I don't want any of that nonsense. I'm sorry. I haven't forgotten that somebody actually tried to make that a thing. We don't need that either.
I actually like the black helmets if they were matte black and not the glossy black. If it was matte black,
I would like the black. I would like the black helmets if they were like our burgundy helmets, but matte black. Don't give me the number weird thing. No.
Right. Matte black, the burgundy style.
Make uniforms uniform again.
Oh, there's a take for you. Yeah, that's great. I want to talk about I got a couple more things I want to touch on. I'm going to play a clip of Aaron Glenn. I just want to get you guys' reaction to this. So obviously, or before I play it, your boy Ben Johnson, FP, accepts the job to be the Bears head coach. Laughably terrible. Can't tell left from right. For those that are not watching the show, FP has got his left hand up to make an L so he understands it, which is exactly what Ben Johnson did at his conference when a reporter said there's a question to your left. But then he goes out and makes the most ridiculous hire. This offseason has been full of ridiculous hires. And we're going to talk about your boy down in Jacksonville in a minute here. But he hires Eric Bieniemy to come coach again in the National Football League. And for the life of me, you can explain away Liam Cohen because of what he did with Baker. You can explain away
Duval.
We'll get there. I got it ready to go. But it's not even, by the way, the Duval was cringeworthy. His face.
Yeah.
And the crazy eyebrow rock thing and the weird like villain Bond aesthetic. It's just all wrong.
First team to go 0-20. They're losing all preseason too.
They may never take the field. I mean, if there was ever a team to be like just this team will not play this year, it would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not a serious franchise. But what is your boy Ben Johnson doing hiring Eric Bieniemy to his coaching staff? Doesn't this just reek of I know better than all of you?
You need to add the extra part of that where he's the running back coach, where they never used running backs under him in Kansas City. And then when his 1 year as OC for Washington,
ignored.
Sam Howell threw the ball 7,562 times in a game.
Yes.
And we just didn't run at all. For him to be a running back coach is me becoming your fitness instructor. It makes no sense.
Here's the real problem. There's a lack of creativity in coaching hires in the NFL, if you're being completely honest, okay? And I'm telling you, like, I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to make hot takes here. But bringing back Bieniemy is a good look, right? It's a good look, right? It's an NFL coach.
There's
it's
100
but hang on.
More qualified at this point in time than Bieniemy coach.
A seasoned assistant, right? Who never got his chance at a head coach job.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, that's the kind of stuff the NFL wants. Do you know that the NFL every year prescribes names of people who are ready for head coaching jobs? Okay. It's not even merit anymore. It's just who's ready. And my point is Eric Bieniemy fits a little bit of this is Ben Johnson's chance to be like,
how can anyone
Pete from Philly?
How can anybody watching football say that
I'm not
Bieniemy's
saying
ready?
it's
Look
right.
at what he did at UCLA.
He lost 400 games in a 12-game season in college.
Yeah.
He couldn't get 2 touchdowns on a regular basis at the collegiate level, Matt. What are you talking about? He's not qualified.
That's my point. That is my point. You actually are making my point.
So you're saying Ben Johnson is giving a nod to the NFL, making them happy.
Right. I'm saying Ben Johnson is giving a nod to the and again, part of that is Ben Johnson also being like, I can run offense, right? Like I don't need
position just plummeted in fantasy because Bieniemy doesn't know what to do with running backs. He doesn't know how to call. I'm actually really surprised that this is your take, Matt. Bieniemy's not qualified for this position.
Well, he's not calling any plays. He's just the running back coach.
Running back coach. Right.
But what does he know about coaching running backs? That's not his thing.
Well, what does he know about based on the last 3 years under Andy Reid, Ron Rivera, and then being in charge himself? Which part of his last 3 years qualifies him to be on a coaching staff?
Guys, Matt might be onto something. But here's a different way of looking at it, right? Everybody always talks about how the refs or the Chiefs are in the refs' pocket or whatever. The refs are in the Chiefs' pocket, right? The Bears are somewhat morphing with Caleb Williams, with Ben Johnson, with the market that they have in Chicago, the fan base that they have in Chicago. They're primed to potentially be, just let me say it, heirs to the next NFL sweetheart team. The market is there. The money is there. If
Chicago's
this is indeed, let me
franchise.
put my tinfoil hat. Hold on.
what
Let me
is
put
this?
my tinfoil hat.
Can we change Andy's tag?
Let me put my
to
tinfoil
conspiracy
hat on.
theorist?
Yeah.
If Ben Johnson is doing something for the commissioner or the NFL, the scripts might be shifting to the Bears' favor. This could all just be a scripted play.
I'm not going that far.
I don't know what to do with this.
Bieniemy as a running back, like I understand.
All right, just forget
why. I understand why Bieniemy was hired as the running back coach from 2017 back. Right, he was the running back coach for Kansas City when Kareem Hunt was doing magical things. He was the running back coach for the Vikings when AP was doing magical things. He was a running back himself doing magical things at Colorado. Whatever. Bieniemy has stopped relating to the running back. So if this is maybe Bieniemy's mindset of, let me go back to my roots, let me reinvent.
Oh my God! It's
guys.
It's Ben Johnson just insisting that
No, but that's what I'm saying.
smarter than everyone else.
But you take that and you're like, Ben Johnson is like, oh, let me bring in Bieniemy, but as the running back coach, like, haha, genius moment for me. I'm rewinding the clock on him.
When you bring back a Super Bowl winning coordinator and you are calling him your running back coach, right? That makes the perception of your coaching staff to be stacked. Okay. Sure. That's my point. That's okay. Fair. And so what I'm saying is,
yes.
And I do think in part there is a little bit of people like Bieniemy, whether he's good or not. People do like Bieniemy and they want to give him a shot to fix his career. And I think part of that's at play. And I think Ben Johnson doesn't see any harm because of the background that Bieniemy has to make. Again, he's not calling plays. He's just responsible for a unit on the team. Okay.
He can also be collateral or the first man fired, right? He's a big name and maybe he's the first one to get axed when they stink.
Right.
Can I play my clip now of Aaron Glenn? Can I just play this? I want you to listen to this. This guy sounds like a coach.
Just a couple of things I want to nip in the bud before we get to the Q&A.
Listen to this guy.
Listen, I came on Wednesday. Well, I got the job on Wednesday. Mooch came and got the job on Saturday. And we came here on Sunday, and we started talking. Here's what I do know. Aaron Rodgers will be talked about. It will be talked about. We've already texted that communication with Aaron Rodgers. And as we continue to look at the roster, we'll make decisions accordingly. And that's what a number of people.
That's his first presser in front of the crazy, one of the toughest markets, maybe the toughest media bullpen in front of the Jets. This guy stands up there and owns it all. Boom. Channeling his inner Dan Campbell. I was so impressed with this press conference. Did you boys have any reaction to that? Or any thoughts on that? I thought he killed it. He followed it up the second day saying he was already in discussions with Aaron about the offense and making the team better and blah, blah, blah. I loved every bit of that clip and what he's been doing since he got there.
Mike Singletary 2.0.
Just a lot of talk.
Yeah, he's just going to be. I mean, will it surprise anybody if he drops his pants and says, "What the hell is this?" like Singletary did? Come 6 weeks into a busted season and the New York media crushes him.
I think you're being.
I'm with Paul. No, I mean, the Jets are a dumpster fire. Like, he can say and do all the right things, but I don't think anything's getting fixed there.
Why are we going so far? Robert Saleh sounded great on his first presser too.
Yeah.
Right? Like my point is, like, until you act again, this team needs a lot of work. And I think it's easy to stand up and say we're gonna deal with Aaron Rodgers right now, but you actually have to deal with Aaron Rodgers, right? And then you have to, and he's the least of your problems, to be honest with you. That team's got a lot of problems, right? That they've got to fix. If they go 4-13 or whatever they do next season, are we gonna be like, oh, that was a great presser? Like, we're not gonna. I'd like to see.
Does he sound like a head coach?
Can you find the clip of Robert Saleh's presser when he got hired?
If I'm not mistaken, he had the crazy eyes and was just dead staring them at his press conference. Like, realized that he was like, "What the hell did I just do?"
Is
Aaron
there a
came in
chance?
there at least and was like, "I'm here, damn it!" And this
Is
my
there a
team.
chance that Aaron Glenn learned a lot from Dan Campbell?
Yes.
About the biting the kneecaps and coming in and running a tight ship. Yes.
You
100%.
didn't know Aaron Glenn, you would think it was Dan Campbell. Like, if you stripped away, yeah. But Ben Johnson, who also was under Dan Campbell, sounds like a complete buffoon when he's being introduced.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell was afforded the patience that New York never gives the Jets. Dan Campbell's first season was not a success.
No, you're right.
Right.
I think they won
3 games. Something
Okay,
like
but by contrast, like, again, just saying, does he sound and look the part? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
So did Ron Rivera when he got hired.
Community.
Listen to this clown.
Jacksonville. The community. Duval.
Oh my God! It's literally worse every time. Every time you listen to it or you watch it, just listen to this.
The community.
And you could see it.
Duval.
Oh my God! It's atrocious. It's atrocious. Does that sound like
so bad? It's so bad that I forgot how the actual Duval chant goes, where they're like Duval. It's so bad.
And this is him on the second day.
Duval. Here we go.
No. Here we go. No one's going anywhere. No one's going anywhere. This is the saddest thing ever. What is it? How is he a head coach?
It just, but like Matt was saying, right? Like, there's no originality in coaching hires anymore, and the cycle effect is happening. And thankfully for us, Dan Campbell and Cliff worked out. But like, do you see that happening with any of the other teams? Maybe Aaron Glenn gets somebody good, but then you have Pete Carroll, who's hiring Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly. By the way, Chip Kelly's $6.5 million a year. Dan Quinn is 4.5 as head coach.
Chip also just won the national championship, didn't he?
Yeah, but what is he going to keep holding up Homer Simpson signs?
I know. I don't know.
Bel-Air signs on the sideline again.
You're right, because that combination, Chip Kelly, when he was coaching the Eagles, was calling the most plays. They were averaging something like 66 or 67 plays a game, and everybody was winded and tired and out of shape and whatever, and it was a big problem. He's coaching now alongside a 73-year-old Pete Carroll. I don't. You're right. I don't understand it. But of all the coaching hires, Jacksonville has the worst one. Like, Liam, I don't understand.
I would say New Orleans has the worst one because they can't find anybody that wants.
I think an empty seat is better than somebody who publicly embarrasses himself 2 days in a row.
No way. No.
Well,
do you know how bad it has to be for an NFL team struggling to find a head coach that wants to work there?
There should be 32 of the most
coveted positions in the world.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, Cliff just outright turned him down completely.
Right? But also, I mean, there's new revelations. I mean, with the Catholic Church stuff, I know that but like maybe some coach was aware of that and was afraid to take the job. Like, maybe they knew that was coming down the pipeline. So, I mean, there could be a reason why nobody wants that job right now. Have you guys seen the news?
Yeah, they're helped with the sex scandal thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I mean,
I just can't get Liam out of my head. I can't the whole thing. Like, it was very. Remember when McDaniels took the Broncos job, but he had first accepted. Didn't he accept another job and then he said no and then he went back? I don't exactly remember, but Liam was like, he just stopped answering his phone.
Yeah, he burned all bridges with Tampa.
Right? But he had his job locked in, and then it was like, my kid is sick and whatever. And then a day later, he shows up, the goofball in Jacksonville, and he's like, who's going to play for him? Is he going to inspire players that are 23, 24, 25 years old to go run through a brick wall for him with his crazy face and his mannerisms and his goofiness?
I'm ready for Andy's conspiracy theory, where the coaches that sound like they're the best coaches are the ones that often struggle, and then the oddballs that come in there and have the worst pressers are the ones that suddenly are the good coach. Everybody was frying Dan Campbell about biting kneecaps and drinking Trenta coffees from Starbucks. They're like, who the hell is this clown? It worked.
Well, I mean, Miami's got a weirdo as a head coach, right? But he clearly knows his stuff.
Does he though? They're not doing much.
I don't know. Liam just very, very bizarre, very bad, and like for him to do it 2 days in a row too. Like nobody has the balls to tell you, hey, don't do that. Like, it wasn't good yesterday. Don't do it again.
Hey,
nobody.
One of your favorite hot takes. Maybe he just has to do what he does so everybody in Jacksonville's okay when their team moves to London.
St. Louis.
Right.
I mean,
London.
London.
London before St. Louis. Yeah.
Well, did you see that the NFL's going to play a game they're trying to play a game in Australia?
How does that work?
It's so far. Honestly, I don't know.
It's called doing too much, fellas. It's doing too much.
I mean, you better give me the bye week before I go to Australia, and then
a bye week on this other. Right, exactly.
What's the draw? And I heard this argument earlier today. Why do we continue to ship the product outside of the United States? Right, like this is a uniquely but like you're
dollars, euros, and Australian dollars.
But Matt, you're gonna get the draw. Like whichever team is being forced to play their home game in Munich, they would get the gate in their home building anyway. So like, is it that much more money?
The eyes that you're getting, the European eyes, and you're hoping that you land a TV deal to broadcast games in Europe. Like all that is new money for the league that they've just untapped.
But they have that, don't they? But they have that.
No, I think they're probably buying DirecTV or something, but they don't have like somebody broadcasting NFL games on a weekly basis, like where you get I don't believe Europe has anything like that, right? If you have if you got satellite, you can probably buy the NFL package, but otherwise you're not.
Who's the main channel provider for like Premier League? Is it like beIN Sports? Like who's the big dog?
BBC.
BBC.
What's it?
BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the big dog of broadcasting.
No, and what's that? Sky Sports. Sky Sports is the other.
Sky Sport is the BBC affiliate. beIN Sport owns a lot of the international broadcast rights.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. If they suddenly have a handshake deal with the NFL, like, hey, we'll pay for 2 exclusive rights.
But they don't need that. They can just broadcast the games on NFL.com and sell you access or broadcast it there, right? Like,
but you also
part of the Amazon deal, right?
32 billionaires that are getting money directly in their pocket from that TV deal.
I mean, I hear you, but I hear you. I get it. But the NFL is one of the only products that's actually better on TV than in person.
Yes.
Right? Hockey, way better in person. Because you can see the speed and it's a big rink. Like there's stuff to see and do and feel because it's cold and whatever. Basketball is awesome to watch in person. Football, not a lot of fun in person, especially if you're in the lower bowl. You're standing the whole time. If depending on what stadium you're in, you're getting your beer thrown at you, or like I don't know. Like it's if soccer's great to watch live, right? It's 45 minutes. It's uninterrupted. Like it's great. Football is actually terrible in real life. It's constant breaks. And if you're in the lower bowl or in the seats where you can actually see everything, you're standing the whole time. It's odd to me.
And the weather. The weather is the other element, right? Who wants to stand in the cold for 4 hours?
I mean, all the EPL, all the soccer teams, Matt, and even they're all out there in the rain and
they're out there, but it's a controlled hour and a half, right? Like,
sure,
you know what you're in for. NFL's 3.5 hours, right? And then if you're going to tailgate and do everything that's part of the NFL culture, you're leaving frostbitten by the end of the day. This is just part of the thing you have to consider.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Are we making predictions here for the Super Bowl? You want to go around the horn here real quick? Andy, you go first. What do you got?
I want the Chiefs not to lose. Are we doing scores or just?
Yeah, what's the score? Maybe give me a prop bet. That's something you're eyeballing too.
All right, so I'm going Chiefs not to lose. I think the final score will be 33-30. Kelsey, 2 touchdowns.
2. Does he retire at the podium?
He proposes to Taylor and then retires.
This guy works for Disney. This guy works for Disney. Matt, who you got?
Yeah, I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs in a close one, probably around the same 37-34, something like that. It'd be high scoring. I got Saquon for 2 TDs, as crushing as that'll be. I also got Kelsey on one knee at the end, right?
Oh my God. What the heck is going on? FP, do you got Kelsey proposing also?
Unfortunately, I have it going to Philly. I just don't think anyone can stop Saquon.
Covering or outright win?
Outright win.
Whoa.
But I also think it's going to be take the over on whatever the field goals in the game are. I think it's going to be low scoring, lots of field goals, and then you're just going to have 2 breakaway Saquon runs. You'll get like a 23-17. Super Bowls always underperform with excitement.
You're right. There's been very few that have lived up to like the actual hype. The Super Bowl for actual football fans was last week.
Yes.
Right. It was the championship round, and both those games lived up to the hype. I hate to say it, but as much as I'm pulling for the Chiefs here because I hate the Eagles, I actually got the Eagles winning this one too, and I have them winning in a low scoring. I got them winning 20-14. It's one of these things where I don't see how the Chiefs. We talked about this last week. Spags always has the Chiefs playing better defense as the season progresses, and definitely in the playoffs. There's no answer for Saquon. This guy is one cut and gone, unless he gets injured, which I don't wish injury upon anybody. I don't see how they can bring him to the ground consistently. I think they wear him down. I think you see AJ reading a book on the sideline or doing some shticky thing because Jalen is a terrible quarterback. But in the end, unfortunately, I think the Eagles are going to win. I
don't think Saquon's going to break anything. I think the Chiefs' defense is too fundamentally sound. They play their positions. They don't make mistakes. Those big Saquon runs, I mean, I can't say for sure, but 99% of the time, it's because some defensive player was out of position or made a mistake. Well, Kansas City won't do that.
No, I don't think. I mean, I disagree. I think Saquon was got one of the best offensive lines, and they're generating some big holes for him all the time. The guy's running through space like he's running untouched.
That offensive line was cruising with no sack, basically against the Commanders. They were just subbing people in and out. And keep in mind, Saquon jumps over people backwards. So like, that's the best play I've ever seen in my life. Like the Odell catch is up there, right? Because it's freaky, crazy good. But Saquon spinning and then reverse hurling a human being is the best play I've ever seen in my life.
Both Giants draft picks, by the way. Over under on number of roughing the passer penalties that Patrick Mahomes gets in his favor.
Whatever the number is, take the over. Your boy's going to be, letting up as he cruises to the sideline. He's mastered that move. Whatever the over is, take it.
I'm just saying, if the ball is in his hand with 4 minutes to go, like that's and it's within one score, I think that's where Kansas City wants to find this game.
Sure,
that's where the NFL wants to find this game, man. Let's be honest. Like,
are you watching the game? Is everybody watching the game?
I'll watch. What else is on?
FP, you had thrown out this idea of doing a Fortnite watch along or something, just to keep it.
Just treat it like any shitty Thursday night prime game. No, nobody cares for it.
No, I wonder what the actual ratings will be in the end too.
This would be the game to do those animated like
do the
Toy
Simpsons.
Story. I would do that for do the Simpsons or Toy Story thing for this. I'd watch that. Like I'd actually sit with my kids and watch that.
This game is so uninteresting. Listen, the Glory Days deal here for anybody local in DC market, the Glory Days deal of $35 and stuff your face for 4 hours, really a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal.
Sliders, no cheese fries though.
No cheese fries.
I saw what was on the menu. It was wings,
sliders,
mac and cheese bites.
cheese. That's not
Some
bad.
salads, probably veggies. Who knows?
Also, gentlemen, I haven't been in years, but I'm hearing this place is making a comeback. Chili's is making a comeback. They've got the triple sampler thing that's like
The super mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, the super mozzarella sticks. They've got sliders, whatever.
Wait for the off season.
I can't even tell you where the closest Chili's.
I don't even know, but I'm saying if it's like,
there's not one in Fairfax.
Where?
It's the Mission Barbecue and the Chipotle.
There's no Chili's.
No, sir.
Yes,
Kingstown, Alexandria, boys.
Yeah, that's the Beulah Road. That's the only one I know.
Andy, are you going to do the 3 burrito challenge next week on the show?
Tell me in the morning if we're going to record, and
I'm telling you right now for next week. 3, Matt, do you think he can down 3 Chipotle burritos in 1 hour while we record the show? We're just going to put him in the box in the corner and just let him eat.
You know, can I add the Stouffer's lasagna as well? I think I can crush.
Am I going to talk to myself for an hour? Matt, are you free next? Fine, we'll put you both in a corner. We'll see who finishes first.
I think I could crush the Stouffer's lasagna.
It's 6 pounds of lasagna.
No,
here's what we should do. We should watch the game live. We should stream live, and these two eat while they watch the game, and that's how we stream them.
We'll
do live commentary.
The Instagram live feed can come on. We can do check-ins.
You're insane if you think you cannot. Matt, do you think you could finish a family-sized Stouffer's lasagna?
I can't see it, but if he seems confident.
Could
so
you finish 60 Oreos in an hour?
That's the easiest.
That's
easiest.
Easy. Yeah, that's easy. I think.
I'm surprised, boys. I'm surprised.
I think anyone on this
stream,
I can eat 10 in a minute and a half.
Yeah,
60 is 2 boxes of
10 in a minute and a half. That's some strong jaw muscles.
No, I mean I'm just 3 minutes. 10 in 3 minutes. I'll do 10 in 3 minutes.
Glass of ice cold milk. I'll down some more.
We're full on into bit season here, right? Football's over. It's just gonna fill. We're gonna keep it going, but every week somebody's gonna be in the box in the corner, just eating something to see what. We'll put a timer up. We can totally.
We talked the trade deadline coming up. NBA. I mean, that's some. Look, I will say this: NBA trade deadline is always way more exciting than the season itself, right? It's probably got the best deadline of any sports, maybe baseball as well. So something to look forward to this week. Just see if anybody moves. Some interesting rumblings going on.
Wizards will get nobody.
No, so Warriors are trying to get Kevin Durant and LeBron James to go join Steph Curry. So
I would be interested in seeing that happen. Like
I would like to watch
back to the Warriors.
Dude, I don't blame a dude for going to join a team and being on the best team at the best time to win.
Yeah, it's all about if I was an athlete, I would 1,000% have no loyalty.
Exactly.
Dude. What do you mean I have to play 82 games? I'm going to play 30, whatever the minimum is to get the credit for the season, and then
65.
So you would be Joel Embiid.
No, he's something else, man. Like
that's.
I think you can use the word bust with him at this point. Like when he's on, you have to be on the court. He's missed more games in his career than he's played. That's the end of the conversation.
It's hard to call a dude who's won MVP bust, but yeah, and been all NBA. But I get your point. Your point is valid. Like the problem is these guys. Look. I mean, you guys probably talked about it, but Luka
I can't do another hour. I can't. I got to eat. The stress hunger is kicking in. Like what are we doing here? We're doing a show.
I want Oreos now.
I'm just saying it's a massive deal. It's the owners are sick of these guys determining for themselves when they're gonna play, how they're gonna show up. And I think there's a big stance that the owners have made to be like, look, we could give you $345 million, or we could send you out of town and you lose $116 million, and we're sick of you and your antics. And I think players got to smarten up.
Well, I think we are going to see very soon the end of no trade clauses. We're going to see the end of super maxes. I think you're going to see more teams just taking ownership of their purse, right? I mean, the Mavs were not going to pay somebody who refuses to get into shape a supermax deal, right? I mean,
$69 million a year would have been that's nobody's worth it. Like that's stupid money. Stupid.
Not when he's 300 pounds, or 270, or 260, or 250. Like he needs to get down into the 220 range, and then we can talk about him being X, Y, and Z and the greatest and blah blah blah. But
anyway,
all right, boys. For next week, get the Oreos ready, or whichever challenge you want to do. But and no reduced fat. You need the double stuff. 60 double stuff.
Absolutely.
Are we doing it with milk?
Yeah, you have to.
Jimmy Buckets to Golden State. Andy, I like you using the ticker there for info or for that.
Somebody keeps changing mine.
You don't like Third Mike? I love third mic.
I'm not down with third mic.
As you like. It's your name. You can do what you want with it. FP, any final thoughts?
No, I'm trying to realize what I'm going to eat for the Super Bowl. That's all I care about for this game.
I mean, you're not doing Glory Days, right? You're watching at home?
Yeah.
No parties?
Yeah. Hookah, order something. Stay low key.
Sad. We're so close. We were so close to playing in the Super Bowl. Matt, anything for you, sir?
No, sir. Just baseball. Let's go, man. 10 days. 10 days. Catchers and pitchers report. Let's go. Can't wait for the MLB special. Let's
remind me to be busy whenever Matt the Met and Stevie do
Did you watch
preseason baseball show?
Yeah, I know. These guys are covering the winter meetings. You watch Arsenal beat the crap out of Man City?
That was impressive. And Man City's downfall is something I can't recall. I can't recall in sports seeing something like that quick, that
Pep's
like
gone.
dramatic, drastic.
It's over. But
Yeah.
it's all for naught because it looks like Liverpool.
And then so come to the financial allegations too. I mean, that's probably coming down too. So
They might get relegated. They might actually be penalized and sent down. And I think we saw that in Italy not too long ago. So 10, 15 years ago with some
Juventus. And Juventus got I remember Juventus taking on a big fine. No, it's Premier League. All the drama's out. I mean, Liverpool's likely gonna. Arsenal's hanging in, but but
we shall see. Andy, anything for you? Buckets.
Nah, I got nothing.
Okay. It was good to see you, boys. Thank you for making time. We went a little long, but appreciate the support as always. The show is DTC, Defeating the Curse. You can watch live on X, Facebook, and YouTube. You can stream or listen anytime. We typically record Mondays and Tuesday nights, so if you want to catch us live and chime in, we would love it. If not, you can catch us. You can catch the show you can get the show anywhere you get your podcast. You can tell Alexa to play the latest episode, and she will do it. You can find us on Podbean. You can find us on YouTube Music as of last week. So check out the show. We got 325 in the bank. We're actually closer to like 360, but there's some lost episodes and non-published episodes and some other stuff that's come and gone over the years. Stevie's had me take down way too many over the years as well, just because he can't control himself when we're recording live. But thank you for hanging out with us. The show is DTC. Just type Defeating the Curse wherever you get your podcast. You can also email the show, defeatingthecurse@gmail.com. Anonymity is guaranteed. We appreciate all of you. Until next time, we are out. I guess we'll talk after the Super Bowl. We'll see ya.